Yo,
Yo,
this is really happening. Holy shit.
what's up, dude?
How are you, man? I'm Kuji. Nice to meet you.
What up, Kuji? I'm Shay.
Oh, I know who you are. I know a lot. First and foremost, I want to thank you for doing this very last minute. I didn't think shooting my shot on Twitter would work, but here we are.
Yeah, you just so happened to catch me when I was looking at my mentions at that particular moment.
Hey, you know what? It worked out perfectly. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Let's
Uh,
let's get let's get right into it, man. For
let's do it.
who don't know but should know, who is Shea Serrano?
Are we recording already?
Do you want to stop recording?
No, we're good. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I just wanted to make sure. All right. What did you say? What? Oh, who am I? Yeah, I'm Shay.
Don't know, but should know.
I'm Shay. I write about things for a living, and that's it.
There's a lot more to you. I feel like there's so much more to you already.
Yeah. No, that's the main thing. Like that's how I make all of my money is by writing. So that's the thing that I say first.
Let's
And then beyond that, I just sort of, make some jokes on the internet with my friends.
let's talk about the writing thing because I think your story is interesting that you just started you were teaching,
Yeah.
you were doing a little freelance. How did you go from teaching to a full-time writer and become one of a New York's bestseller? Like that's just not a you took a hobby to like a wild career. Like how did we get here?
It all happened by accident. Really, I was, as you mentioned, a teacher. I taught for 9 years at a middle school in South Houston.
Mhm.
And that was the job I thought I was going to do for my whole life. I thought, you know, I'm going to teach a couple of generations of kids and then retire, and that'll be that. But early on in my teaching career, I needed to make some extra money because my wife, she had some medical complications that prevented her from working for a little bit. And I was trying to whatever, apply at Target or Papado or these sorts of jobs. But each time I went on an interview, they would tell me that they weren't going to hire me because I already had a full-time job and I couldn't work when they needed me to work. I kept running into that. So I'm just like Googling work from home jobs, just trying to make a few extra bucks. And writer was one of them. And, I read a little bit about it and it said, all you need is the internet and a computer. And so I said, I guess I'll do that one. And then I just started, researching how to pitch places, started emailing people, figuring it out that way. I did that for several years. And then I think around 2013 or so, I got like my first proper writing contract through ESPN's Grantland with Bill Simmons. And then in 2014, that hired me. They brought me on full time. The first one was just part time. That one was full time. And then, ever since then, I've just been writing stuff.
That's so amazing just to like think like by accident it turned into something so much more bigger.
Yeah. It's wild to think about it anytime I like pull back from everything a bit and look at basically where we are and like how it all started, because it was never a thing I wanted to do. It was never a thing that I grew up on the south side of San Antonio. Everybody that I knew was poor. We were all poor. We were on, food stamps or Section 8 housing or whatever. That's not a job they tell you that you can do when you're there. They're like, hey, do you want to do construction over here? You want to do landscaping over there? That's pretty much it. Or do you want to join the army? And so, yeah, it's wild to think about.
Now it is wild. It's wild to like even doing my little research prior to like calling you, just like reading all the things you've written for, like the Bun B coloring book, or even writing about hip hop in Houston. Like, I think the coolest thing about what you do is you get to write about what you love.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that was always important to me. That wasn't like a thing I was allowed to do early on. When you're first starting out, you just write whatever they tell you to write. So like, for example, I wrote a nightlife column for the Houston Press for like 3 or 4 years. And that was basically me going to a bar or a nightclub, rooting around, trying to find a good story and then writing about it. But I don't like nightclubs. I don't drink alcohol or smoke. So I don't go to bars. It was just like a thing I was doing for work. But the more I did that, the like more leeway I got. And eventually I was able to wiggle my way into a spot where I could just write about the stuff that I liked, which is what I do now.
Let's talk about the things you like. I think one of my favorite things about your Twitter is just your love for hip hop and like a lot of the random artists you love. Like, yo, of course you love the legends, the Bun B's, the Andre 3000. Like, I just liked your 3 Stacks tweet from International Players Anthem.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But an artist that really caught my attention to like who you loved is someone from my area, Cousin Stiz. Like you love Cousin Stiz, and that's what made me follow.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit! Like this author loves Cousin Stiz. Where's that love start from? Because I think that's one of the illest things about you.
I think with Stiz, somebody likely sent it to me on Twitter. Hey, check this out. There's probably somebody else I tweeted about, some other musician, and I'm sure the way it happened is I did that, and then somebody else came and was like, "Oh, if you like that, check this out." And I came across his Suffolk County mixtape is the first one that I heard, and it was the exact kind of music that I like. It's very like aspirational, inspirational, but also he was making a noise that I thought nobody else was really making at that time, and it just sat in my ear the right way. And that happened right when I signed my first full-time contract in July of 15, and then in October of 15, the place where I signed my contract got shut down. So I was like out of a job immediately, 3 months after I had started. And so I was like in this weird spot and like nervous about everything. And I found that tape, or I was listening to that tape, and he was like in the same spot in his life, it felt like professional life. And so it was cool to just like listen to that and feel like, oh, this guy knows exactly what I'm feeling. He says it better than I can. It feels good when he says it. Let me start listening to him. And then I just been following him ever since. He's fucking awesome.
I love that. Like every time you tweet about him, I'm just like, wow, like you're hip. Like you know everything that's fucking going on.
Yeah, look. Where I'm sitting here at my desk, I have a signed copy of
Manda.
Yeah. He did. So Stiz did this like online concert, and
during COVID.
Yeah. And if you like bought a certain package, you got a free vinyl album. And I was like, yeah, that's my guy. Let me get it. I got that. I got a hat. I got a shirt. He's fucking cool.
What other music you listening to right now? Because I feel like you'll go from talking about legends to different genres. Like you have a variety of music you like.
Yeah, mainly right now it's all rap because I'm working on the rap book. So I'm just listening to basically every like classic album that has happened for the last 30 or so years, but also a lot of I really like a lot of the younger, newer stuff. There's this guy out of Houston. His name is Les. He spells it $. And he just put a tape out called Dios, Dios.
He used to run with Currency.
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
And he's another one who he just makes a very unique kind of music that nobody else is really doing. And I like him a lot. Kamaya is another one whom she makes you put on the Kamaya tape and it's like, oh, this is Kamaya. You know what I'm saying?
That's hard to hit.
Yeah. So she's really good too. Tierra Whack, I still listen to her tape from a couple years ago. That what was it? Whack World. It was like 15 minutes long or something like that. Every song was 1 minute. It's great.
Man, I probably could talk music with you forever, which is crazy because like
yeah,
that's one thing like I learned to love about you first. Like when I started following you, and it's crazy. I didn't even know I owned your books.
Like, that happens a lot.
I didn't even put that together. Like I'm following you on Twitter, just liking your tweets, blah blah blah. And then you tweet. I think because I owned the Rapping Things book already. I think you had just put out a book in 2019.
Last year was the movie book. Yeah.
Yes. So I buy it off Amazon because I'm following you. I love what you're doing. I'm just like, holy shit! Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That moment I put it together. That must happen a lot for you though.
Yeah.
Reactions.
Yeah, it does. It happens a bunch, and it makes me happy because I like when people buy the books. It's very helpful. It's very, very helpful.
What's your favorite book that you've done so far?
I don't like any of them, honestly. This is like a thing that happens when you write is while you're working on a thing, it's the best thing that you've ever done and it's awesome and it's great. And then as soon as I turn it in, as soon as I turn it in, I'm like, oh God, that's terrible. That's the worst thing I've ever written. I hate it. I mean, I don't go back and reread anything.
Really?
As soon as I turn it in, it's done. With the books, you have to reread them for like fact checking and proofreading and things like that. But that's before it comes out. But once it comes out, I haven't opened the music book. I mean, the movie book. I haven't opened the basketball book. I haven't opened Rap and Other Thing. I mean, the Rap Yearbook since I wrote it a few years ago. I just Don't touch it. So my favorite one right now is Rap and Other Things, because that's the one I'm working on right now. It's fucking awesome. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Tell me more about it.
It's just it's a similar conceit to the to Basketball and Other Things, or Movies and Other Things. Every chapter is a different question that needs to be answered, and then by the end of the chapter you answer the question, and that's really all that it is. It's basically just it's like a tricky way for me to write about all the stuff in rap that I like or have enjoyed.
I'm excited to read it. I've like the Basketball and Things book was like, I learned so much information just off reading it. And it's like, I think your writing style is my favorite because it just comes from a place of like, you can tell you genuinely love it.
Yeah, that's the only way that it works for me. Again, I mentioned I've written about stuff that I haven't necessarily cared about, and it's just not as fun. But also, if you're working on a book, you're going to spend, in one way or another, about 2 years of your life with it. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of time. It just doesn't work that well, I think, if it's something you don't enjoy already. Like, there's some stuff that I like, but I don't like truly care or like love it in the kind of way you need to. Like football is a perfect example. I like football. I watch football every week. I keep up with my favorite teams, but I could never write a football book because I just don't care about it the way that I care about rap, or the way that I care about basketball or movies or TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I feel like when it comes to sports, there's always one sport you love more than others. And for me, it also would be basketball. So I get it. I like football. It's cool.
Yeah,
I'm a Patriots
exactly.
fan, so I've been blessed to see a lot of championships, but like the way I love basketball, it's just different. I get it.
Yeah, every time I tweet about something, I was just tweeting today about Eddie Guerrero, who's like one of my favorite wrestlers. But I tweet that, and then everybody's like, or not everybody, but a few people are like, oh, Wrestling and Other Things, or the wrestling book, when are we going to get that? But I couldn't write that because I don't love it that way. I don't have that history. You need that history with it. You need to have grown up with a thing, I feel like, or, for the type of writing that I do, you need to have grown up with it. You need to be able to like have little tiny things that you can only know if you were following it at the time, that sort of shit. So.
No, that makes sense. I mean, if your heart's not in it, it's not going to be a great product. Then you don't want to, let
that's what I feel like. Yeah.
You don't want to short yourself. So that definitely makes sense. And I appreciate that you wouldn't do something like that, because it'd be an easy cash grab for sure, but your heart wouldn't be in it.
Yeah, definitely.
That makes sense. What's been your favorite off-season move in basketball so far? And look, can we talk about how weird this off-season is? It feels like it's a week and then we're back and back. It's
fast.
So bizarre.
It's fast. Yeah. Somebody was just talking about that. For LeBron James, it's going to be like 70 days between games.
I think like 77.
For Kevin Durant, it's 500 and something days between games. Like it's wild. But my favorite off-season thing that has happened so far is the one that's happening right now with James Harden and the Houston Rockets, where it's just like falling apart. I love it. I
like
just
right
love
in front of people are showing us like, yo, he's definitely staying in Houston. It's like, yo, he hasn't practiced. He's with little baby right now.
I don't know what's gonna I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's interesting to watch. Everything that pops up with his name on it are the Houston Rockets. I wanna see.
Where where do you think he goes? Do you think they should keep him in Houston, try it again, run it back, him, John Wall, or do you think they should just let it go, trade him?
I have no idea. I think that depends on how he's feeling about things. If he wants to play in Houston, if he's just sort of like in a frustrated space right now, maybe he needs a couple weeks to get his feet under him, but then he wants to eventually go back and play in Houston. I think that would be a good team to have. If you have James Harden on your team, you're making it in the playoffs. You're making it probably past the first round. Absolutely. At least. So, give it a shot if he wants to. But if he doesn't want to be there, there's not a lot you can do with that other than get him out of there.
How would you feel about him going to the Nets? Do you think that like puts another asterisk next to Kevin Durant's career, or like we're like, that's a wild Superton, him, Kyrie, and potentially James? Like that'd be crazy. That would be
wild. I don't think that you could put an asterisk next to KD for that one, because he was there first.
That's true.
So it's it's his spot. It's him and Kyrie together. If James Harden jumps in, then I think that burden falls on James Harden.
Very true. I'm excited to see what happens with this NBA season. This is probably the most excited I've been for basketball, just because, you know, obviously coming off the LeBron championship. Congratulations to him. But it's like these teams are stacked now.
Yeah, a couple of them are. I want to see LeBron do it again. I want to see him get to 6, just because everybody's gonna fucking lose their mind.
When he gets to 6, because I feel like it'll happen, I'm gonna tweet this clip and be like, he said it first. He said it was gonna happen. Let's talk about one of your the newest things you're working on. You have your own publishing company. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Halfway Books. I got a hoodie on right here. My Halfway Books hoodie. Halfway Books is this pretend publishing company that I created just because I was bored and I was working on the rap book. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. And working on a book is a very lonely process. You sit with everything by yourself for a lot of months, and then eventually you start emailing with your editor. But I thought it would be cool to have some other people who are working on a big rap project that I could email with at the same time. And so I started Halfway Books, and I hired some people, 5 different people, to write about a rap album. Each person was just picking an album that they love or that they cared a great deal about, which is what we have been talking about. That's my favorite kind of writing to read, is when somebody really cares about something and they can engage with it in like a meaningful way. And so that's what I did. I hired these 5 people. Andreas Hale, I hired him. He wrote about Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. John Morrison wrote about The Roots, Do You Want More? Fulamusu Bengora wrote about Little Kim's Hardcore. Siobhan Chapman, she wrote about Biggie's Life After Death. And Taylor Crumpton wrote about Big Tuck's Purple Hulk.
All very great albums, by the way.
They're all wonderful albums. But again, these were albums that meant something meaningful to each person. So they spent 2 months or something writing a 3,000 word essay that we built up to make it look like a proper book, like an ebook that you would have on your Kindle or iPad or whatever. And they came out last week, and the sales are going well, and it's been really cool to watch.
I feel like your best ideas come from when you're bored, which is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. All of this stuff is like, I just want to do some shit sometimes, and it doesn't work every single time, but when it does work, it usually works out okay.
I feel like, New York's best selling, Obama.
Yeah.
I think it's going all right. I think it's going okay.
It's going okay. It's going okay.
First reaction when you saw Obama mention your book.
I thought it was fake. This is the first thing I thought. I said, this is somebody photoshopped this. This is clearly fake. And what happened is I was sitting on my couch watching TV, just sort of minding my business. My phone buzzed. I looked, I saw the thing. I was like, no, that's not real. I opened it, looked at the picture, or looked at like the actual page. I said, no, haha, good joke. And then I put it down, and then it buzzed again, and then again, and then it just started going fucking nuts. And I said, let me see if this is actual real thing. And I looked on his actual real Facebook page, like the verified one, a Twitter account, whatever. And I saw it on there, and then I was like, oh, fuck, that's crazy. That's really crazy.
That's one of the biggest flexes you can have. So be
Yeah, definitely. A bunch of my friends are writers at this point. They will have written books or will write books that will be on the bestseller list. So we all can be like, oh, we all wrote a bestseller, but there's only I only know one other person who was also on the list. You know what I'm saying? That's like an extra card I get to play. I got a finals MVP trophy.
Yes.
We all won a championship, but I got this. You know what I'm saying? That's how it felt after the initial sort of shock.
It's interesting just like watching your career unfold, like following you on Twitter and just seeing things happen organically. I told one of my friends, Beezy, that I was interviewing you. He's like, yep. She said like he has like one of the most loyal Twitter fan bases. Let's talk about another thing that you do well. You understand Twitter, and you just, how did we get here? Like you have your own. Sorry, my cat's. My cat's trying to get on camera, but you have your own army. Like one thing that comes up when you search your name is the FOH Twitter. Fuck out of here, army.
Does it come up? That's funny.
It's on your Wikipedia. It's on your Google search.
That's wild. I never Google my name, ever. I refuse to do it because I'm very rarely gonna find like nice things. I
Really?
mean, there are going to be nice things out there, but whatever, that's not a way to say it. The nice things, you read them and it's like, oh, that's cool. But if you read a mean thing, that one for some reason really sticks to you.
You
And you're
should
like,
read Wikipedia. It's actually really like extensive. Like it's
I
a
don't, I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it at all.
you should.
But that's cool that it comes up. The FOH Army thing that started again as a joke. I was like in the middle of trying to get people to buy the Rap Year book. This was 2015 or so. Um, the book was doing better than anybody thought it was going to do. We thought it was going to sell, a few hundred, maybe 1,000, 2,000 copies the first week, and it started to pick up steam on Twitter. I could feel it happening. I started seeing more and more screenshots of people saying they bought it, and then I saw like one day we sold out. We sold out on Amazon. They were like, Amazon said we ran out of books. We got to get some more in.
That
And
can
I said,
happen
oh,
on Amazon.
what's that?
Amazon can run out of books. That's a thing.
Yeah, they only buy a certain number.
Gotcha.
And then they sell those and then they order more. So they sold out whatever small number was that they ordered. And then I was like, oh, well, here, go to Barnes and Noble and buy them from there. And then Barnes and Noble sold out. And then we went we started hitting the indie bookstores, Books A Million. And then their website crashed from the sales. And
Shit.
somebody made a joke on Twitter about how this was like a shitty little army going around causing trouble at these various spots. And that's where the name came from. And then it just sort of grew into what it is now, which is like a few more people, but also we're doing a bunch of charity stuff, which I think is cool. And that's really what it is.
Hey, I was actually going to mention charity too, because I've noticed that you're always Venmoing people. You're always having like doing GoFundMe. Let's talk about that aspect of your work too, like your giving back aspect.
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Again, like how did you start that? Obviously, it didn't come from being bored. Like what's
That one did come from being bored.
No way.
Yeah. Or like a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke more than anything else. This is exactly what happened. I mentioned that I signed a contract in July of 15 and then October 15, the place closed, right? But because it was ESPN, after the place where I was working closed, ESPN said, you have 8 more months on your contract. You can either just sit back in the background and we'll pay you every 2 weeks and you don't really got to do anything, or we can let you out of your contract and you can go work somewhere else. And I said, well, I think I like that 8 months of not doing anything. So let me do that. And so I did that. But after like week 4, I was bored as shit. And I wanted to be writing. I wasn't doing anything. And so me and this guy, Arturo Torres, who does all the illustrations for the books, I hit him up. I said, hey, I want to do a newsletter, like a free newsletter, just because I feel like writing, but I can't write for another place because I won't get paid through my ESPN contract. Do you want to do this with me? He said, yeah, let's do it. We started the basketball newsletter. It was supposed to just be this small thing, but very quickly it got like 30,000 followers, 30-something thousand subscribers or whatever. And because I was doing it for free, every once in a while people would be like, hey, let me pay $5 or let me pay $10 or $1 or whatever. And that happened a bunch of times over the first few weeks. And so the 4th issue, I think it was, I put a donation button in there. I'm like, okay, everybody keeps saying you want to pay for the newsletter. Donate some money here if you want. And it went out. And I wasn't thinking much of it. I was like, whatever. Maybe a couple $100. But very quickly, we got like a few $1,000s in there. And I was like, oh, shit, this is nuts. I gave some of the money to Arturo, and then we donated the rest to this women's shelter in Dallas that Arturo had spent some time in as a kid with his mom. And
That's
we
amazing.
sent the money. Yeah, we sent the money there. And then I like updated everybody in the next issue. Here's the money that we got. Here's what we did with it. Ha ha ha. We didn't, whatever. And then everybody made a big fuss about it on Twitter. And then a couple of weeks later, I did it again. And then immediately everyone was like, oh, where are you going to donate it to this time? And it just became like a thing people were expecting us to do. So we just fucking kept on doing it. And it just gets bigger and bigger as we go. Like that first one was, I think that first donation was like $2,000 or whatever, $2,000 or $3,000. It wasn't a ton, but like a year or two later, we did it like $130-something thousand at once, or like it comes fast now, you know what I'm saying? And it just gets bigger and faster and more aggressive, and it's cool. During the pandemic, we've already donated in cash since March 12th, something like $382,000 of just like money to people or places. If you do the entirety of like all of the donations, it's well over $600,000 at this point. It's like, it's crazy to think about. I hope that's on the Wikipedia page. Somebody put that on there.
I'm very sure it's somewhere on there.
Okay, good.
Wikipedia page is long.
Is it? Awesome.
You need to read it.
I hope they say I'm super handsome on there. Put that on there if you can.
Let's see.
Just search for the word handsome. If it doesn't come up, I'm going to be sad.
All right. I'm doing Command F right now. Let's see.
Yeah.
No handsome. Sorry.
Damn. See, that's why I don't look. That's why I don't Google my own name. That's why I don't look.
Comes up though. Tim Duncan comes up. J. Cole comes up.
Trump that's fine. But no handsome.
No handsome. But you know what?
You said Trump comes up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
In a good way though. They just mention how you every so often let your fuck Trump tweets go.
Yeah.
That I appreciate, by the way, and I'm sure a lot of other followers do too.
Me too. I appreciate it too.
The funniest thing on your Wikipedia though, I had to mention it because I was just telling Manals, my girlfriend, about it. Your dog's name comes up. Like towards the end, it's like, oh, by the way, he has a bulldog named Younger Jeezy.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny? This is gonna blow your mind. I don't think I ever said this before. That's not even his real name. It's not. It's like I'm not gonna tell you his real name. You're not supposed to share your pet's real name on the internet because then if someone tries to steal him, they know the dog's name. Huh. So I've never said this dog's name in real life. Only to him in real life. Younger Jeezy was like again, it was just a joke. It was like one time there was a stray dog in the neighborhood and he was hanging out in front of our house. Maybe he could like sense good dog vibes. So we like invited him in, gave him some food and water while we contacted the owner, and we named that dog Stray Z. And so it was Stray Z and Younger Jeezy, and they were like best friends for a few hours, maybe like a day or two.
That's
and then when we had to give him back to the owners, I was super sad about it. I was like really sad. Part of me wanted them to never come, but they did.
How's Stray Z? I hope he or she.
I hope he's great.
Right. I hope he's having a great night.
Me too.
Let's talk about something people you tweet about all the time. You have a beautiful wife, 3 kids.
Yeah.
Like I'm a father as well. It's an amazing blessing. Let's talk about like just, balancing. You got into writing essentially to provide for them and it blew up into something even amazing. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I just have one son.
Oh yeah. How old is he?
He's turning 2 in April.
Oh, you still got a little baby.
Oh, he's a baby. He's like currently hitting people at his daycare. They sent a letter to me on Friday.
That sounds right. Mine are.
I'm Brandon. I'm proud.
Mine are the twins are 13, identical twin boys, 13 years old, and they're already up here with me. Bigger feet, bigger hands. They're cool. They're just like cooler than I am, which is great to watch. And then the younger son, the baby, he is 8 years old.
Wow,
please. Yeah, that's my little homie. But it's cool. It's cool. As far as balancing, it's like it was really difficult in the beginning because I was working full time. Mm-hmm. So it's like I leave to teach from, I don't know, like 6:30 in the morning. I have to leave the house, and then I teach until 3:15, 3:30, and then I have whatever practice after that because I was coach of the basketball team, of the football team, of the soccer team, of the track team. So all year I have like practice until 6 or so. And then I get home 6:30 and then like I have to, spend some time with the kids so they know what I look like. And then I go off to write for the rest of the night. And that was when it was difficult. But now it's much easier because now it's like, this is all I do during the day. So when they're at school, I'm at work. And then when they come home, I come home. You know what I'm saying? So I get up in the morning with them, give them a hug, kiss their little heads, send them out the door. Laramie drops them off at school. I go to the office. This is a pre-pandemic. And then before they come home from school or right around the same time, I leave the office and be there with them.
Do they read your books? Do they know that you're cool?
No, they think I'm the dorkiest person in the world.
Really?
They're not interested in any of this stuff. They were never, the only time they were impressed, it didn't matter when like Obama tweeted about me. It didn't matter when The Rock tweeted about me. It didn't matter when Missy Elliott tweeted about me. It didn't matter that they could walk into a bookstore and see my name up on a big thing with like all of my books. It didn't matter. I was on the bet. The only time they were ever impressed was when they saw that I was verified on Instagram. And
Wow.
then they were like, whoa, this is crazy, Dad. But like, that was the only time. Besides that, no, I'm just Dad.
That's cool though.
Yeah, I like it. I prefer it that way. They don't care about any of that stuff, which is good.
That's hilarious though. Like all the crazy accolades. It was the blue check on Instagram that did for them.
That's it. I don't know why. I didn't even know they were on Instagram, but apparently they are.
That's awesome, man. God bless. Shout out to the family.
Yeah.
I love when you tweet about them. I don't know, it's wholesome.
Yeah, that's the team right there. Those are my guys.
No, I didn't expect this conversation to go as smoothly as this was. I was really nervous going to this. I'm being super honest with you. I was like, I don't know. I didn't even think you would do this. So like, this was.
No, it's good. I'm good at this. I've done enough of them. We're gonna be fine.
No,
and you're good at it too.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. So when are we getting the book officially? Like, is there like any like estimate?
Oh yeah, Rap and Other Things. It will be out in October of 2021. Yeah. So if less than a year away. I'm plowing through it now. I've been working on it for the last year or so.
When you start writing about these albums and like, you're talking about this, do the artists reach out to you? Do you ever get a chance to sit down with them, talk to them, or like have they hit you up? The book's drop? No.
Nah, that don't really happen too much. It happens every once in a while. But it's usually not like, hey, let's talk. It's more like, oh, I'm in this thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time somebody sent me a screenshot of, it was like a thing that Puff Daddy had posted at his house, and the rap book was on his bookshelf. It's stuff like that more than anything else. Or like an NBA player will, if there's a picture of them in the book, they'll tweet something like that. But it's never, hey, let's talk about this stuff. I'm not so interested in that. I'm not trying to be friends with all these people. I just like to celebrate them from afar.
What is your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album of all time, Jesus. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say, just because I have been listening to it, because I've been writing about her for the book, Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott that's in the running. So I'll pick that one. That's like one of my 5 favorite albums ever.
Really? What about the album is like, by the way, I love Missy Elliott. She followed me back on Twitter maybe a year ago, and it's still like one of the coolest.
That's cool.
Things that happened to me.
Yeah. I like that album a lot, because this is what we were talking about before, but she was making a sound that I had not heard ever. And I liked that part of it. I thought she was cool. I thought the videos for the album when they came out, it was like unlike anything we had ever seen. And then you start learning about this person, reading whatever's been written about them, reading their stories, listening to all their other albums. And she just had like this really, I thought, interesting story. One of my favorite like Missy Elliott anecdotes is the one about before she had done Super Duper Fly, she was like ghostwriting or like songwriting for different tracks. She wrote this one song for, I think it was Raven Simone, when she was a kid rapper.
What?
And yeah, so she wrote a song. She did the song with Raven Simone, but when it came time to do the video, they didn't invite Missy to do her part. They had somebody else lip sync her parts for him. It was a smaller woman with lighter skin. And they told her afterward, we couldn't have you on there because you don't look the way we need you to look. And it was like a very devastating thing for her, as I imagine something like that would be. So she's just sort of disappeared into the background and was working behind everything. But when she came and she made her video or her album, the first single that they put out was Super Duper Fly. The Rain from that album. And like the whole video, the whole everything, it's like her exaggerating all of the features that they said were bad about her. And then just the lyrics are her reiterating over and over again how great she is. I'm super duper fly, super duper fly. Like, I thought that's fucking cool to do stuff like that. And then her whole career has been like that. She's like a legitimate genius. Like, she got tested when she was in school and got a genius score. Like,
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's cool. You should read up on her, or just read the rap book because it's all in there.
October.
October.
October 20th.
All the stuff I just said is going to be in the book.
I didn't, and I like to think I know a lot about artists. I did not know that though. Holy shit.
That's the crazy thing about working on the books, because you think you know a lot about like whatever your absolute favorite thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite musician? Just what as an example.
Kanye. He's probably my favorite rapper of all time.
Okay, Kanye. So how old is Kanye West?
He's like what? I think like 43.
So you don't even know. You're guessing at it already. This is your favorite musician of all time, and you don't know. You're uncertain how old he is.
43. Holy shit.
So you have to look it up right now just to make sure, right? But that's the point. Like even whoever it is you love the most, an album that you care about the most, you don't know enough about it right now to write a book about them. So while you're working on this, you learn so much stuff. You learn a crazy amount of stuff, which is like, that's really fun to me.
And that's honestly been my favorite part about reading the books. Like I own the original rap book. I was working at Urban Outfitters and bought it with my discount because I was like, this is like the only thing in because I was working there. I was like, I don't really like anything we sell, so I don't use my discount. And I see this book. I'm like, holy shit, it's about rap. This is okay, I'm gonna buy it. And I just learned so much. And I was like, this is crazy. Like this is like your writing style, like I always talk about how much I like your writing style, but just like the little small things that no one would ever you to even think about that you put into it is like amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, of course, man. You do good work. You do really good work, like really, really good work. And it's just the way you love hip hop is like amazing because it's there's only but so many amazing writers, I feel like, and there's not too many people who drop books like what you're doing. So I feel like you're leading something important. I feel like I want to see what comes next from like
I want to see what comes next too.
It's exciting to see, and it's like I feel like you're really just getting started.
I hope so.
Which is the biggest part about it all. For how long you've been active, I feel like you're still just really getting started. You're still getting your feet wet.
I just want to get real rich and then disappear.
I fuck with that.
That's my goal. That's all I'm aiming for. So that's what I'm chasing after.
I feel like everything, no Twitter, no nothing.
Nothing, just gone. What happened to Shea? Where did Shea go? He used to fucking tweet 100 times a day, and now he just disappeared. That's what I want to have happen. Is he dead? Did he die?
That's what I want. Happening if you pop up with a book like 10 years later, and it just about like one you took.
That's what I just want. I want to like disappear, and then I come back, and I've got a giant beard and like a turtleneck, and I've been living on a mountain where it's really cold, and I've got a drinking problem. And I was like, here's a new book. And then I disappear again.
I can fuck with that.
That's what I want.
That's like a wild part of the career. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
I need the rap book to drop in 2021. I need a few more things before that.
I need to sell a lot of books for that to be the case. I'm way far away, but eventually. Hopefully.
It's gonna happen.
I hope so.
I know so. I'm telling you, like just as from a follower standpoint, every time you put a goal up, you always kill it. So
that's not true. I miss out on a lot of stuff.
I feel like you don't.
But everybody just grabs onto the stuff that doesn't, like, who cares about a loss? You know, they just want to celebrate the wins.
That's the internet for you.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like, you know, I think that's the tricky part though about being on the internet is if you're watching from the other side of it. Usually you only see like the highlights, you know what I'm saying? You know, you miss all of the other shit. Like I remember when I saw the TV show a couple of years ago.
Sitcom, right?
It's sitcom. And everybody was like, oh, this is great. This is crazy. This is crazy. And then like the sitcom just sort of disappeared and nobody cared. Like, who cares? Who cares that it went away? We don't care. You know what I'm saying? But if you were only looking at like from afar, all you saw is, oh, this guy sold a TV show, and then that was it. And then you assume everything went great, but it didn't. It's like that with a lot of stuff. With the books, I pitch books, they don't get picked up. I pitch ideas, they don't get picked up. It's just like that's part of the process.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That does make sense. The sitcom just disappeared. That's all we can say about that. It just
Well, no, that's what it looked like on the internet. But what ended up happening is they like passed on it. ABC passed on it, and then like you can sell it again later on, I guess, if you want. But I didn't want to do that. I wasn't interested in that. So it just went away, and it's like all right, let's do another one. I sold another one last year.
Yep.
Nobody even heard about that one,
What
but
was it?
it was a basketball show, but it didn't get picked up.
Okay.
So the way that like TV works is these places will buy a bunch of stuff,
Mhm.
and then you write a script, and then they pick like the scripts that they like, and then they make those ones. And so like a lot of people will sell the show, very few people will like actually make a show. But like that's the thing that I'm saying. Like nobody sees the losses, or nobody cares about the losses as much. So if you're only watching from afar, you don't know about that part. It can start to eat at you a little bit. I know sometimes I see good things happening for other people, and just because I know from working in the industry, I know, oh, that person like probably fucked up 10 times before they got this one good thing to happen. So it's easy to process. But if you don't know that part, and you're just like, damn, everybody else seems like they're winning all the time and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It might get to you a little bit.
I mean, honestly though, I feel like when people hear that clip, it's gonna make me feel better about the things they do miss out on, because coming from you, someone who's established, you take L's too, and it makes us feel more human.
Yeah, I hope so. Like that's the point. That's like a good way to approach it. There's like a very easy example to understand is that like if I'm writing stuff every week, I'm pitching stuff, and most of the time they're telling me no. Somebody's telling me no for something. And I've been doing this for years, and I've got, as you mentioned, books on the bestseller list, but it doesn't matter because here's the idea now, and they don't want it, so they keep it moving.
Damn. That was a great way to end that sentence. Holy shit.
There you go.
Wow. I feel better about my losses now. Thank you, Shay.
There you go. What are you working on right now? What's the plan?
So I've been I just opened up a studio. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. We opened up a studio in Rhode Island, a music studio. A lot of my homies record and need a place. I run a website called The Daily Note, hip hop blog. We post new music, videos, all that. This series we're doing is Kickin It. I like just interviewing people that I look up to, whether it's rappers, producers, authors now, marketing agency firm owners, like just people that do really cool shit that I want to learn more about. I feel like in this age of the internet, you don't really get to talk to people as much, especially people that you'll never get to meet. So this is kind of my way of talking to people I look up to in interview form. It's weird. I don't know.
That's what's up.
We've been doing merch, just kind of like getting my feet wet. Just been doing a bunch of shit. 2020 was a year I just kind of got out my comfort zone and tried a bunch of stuff. Like I started making clothes. The clothes do well. I started kind of shooting my shots more to interviews. And so a lot of the times no one ever responds. Today it worked out. So kind of working on just building my resume. I love talking to people. I love this culture. I love music, and yeah.
Well, there you go. Chase it down.
I'm trying, man. I hope to get a lot more interviews with notable people and just kind of get information that other people don't get. Like I watch a lot of interviews. I feel like it's always the same 5 questions. I feel like people don't dig as much, so that's kind of what I would love to do. And yeah, just lead great conversation. That's like one thing I really enjoy like about Twitter. You can start a one question can turn to a lot of dialogue, and you just learn a lot of stuff. And that's kind of what I like about where the internet is. Besides all the shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to ignore all that part.
Absolutely, but like I'm just working on that. Working on building the resume. Hopefully, someone cool offers me a position somewhere at like a complex or some shit. This is me manifesting that.
Yeah.
We go from there. I'm still young, 25, so I got a lot of time to just perfect this.
Who does the like job that you want to do eventually?
Like people I look to, I'd probably say like DJ Academics, Wayno, Sway, all the guys at Hot 97, Charlemagne the God. I think Charlemagne the God has the job that I would love because he just does everything. He does the radio, and then he'll turn around and do a movie, turn around, start his own company, like things like that. But they just love, and they just kind of, again, direct conversation and culture. And they have an opinion that matters.
Sway is my favorite interviewer. For rap stuff. Because I'm working on the book, I'm watching like whatever interviews with whatever people, but he's my favorite one. He's so good. He's so like smooth with everything. Everybody, a few minutes in, you could tell how comfortable the other person is there, because it's always a weird thing to get interviewed.
Yeah, I believe it.
but he sets a nice table for everyone.
Love Sway. Other interviewers I really love. I love Angie Martinez. She has like
Angie Martinez is also very good.
it's the voice, yo. She sounds like a really like nice Spanish aunt. You know, it's amazing. Like it's comforting when you like listening to Angie Martinez.
Yeah, she's good. I went on an Angie Martinez, down an Angie Martinez rabbit hole when I was doing the Missy stuff, because then I got to the Ladies Night song and she was on that one. And then I was like, let me read about all of these people. And I went down her thing. Like she's really good.
There's just like so many people I look to that just do this well.
There's two guys at Complex who are really good. I guess they bounce around a little bit maybe, but Brandon Jinx is the guy. He's really, really good. And Speedy Mormon, also, who is just fucking so charming. Those two guys are like, they just sort of, you get them on camera and you just want to watch all of the stuff that they're going to say or do.
And they know their shit.
Yeah, that's another one.
They know their shit. There's a lot of people who like get these positions and like, you know, they don't really know what they're talking about, or they're just not. I just feel like they don't love this culture as much. So I love seeing people like the Jinxes, like the Waynos on Everyday Struggle, even Joe Budden. Like I love seeing these guys talk music because you can tell they just love it so fucking
yeah.
much.
Well, there you go. That's gonna be you one day.
You said it, not me.
And then I'm gonna be tweeting at you saying, "Hey, can I come on your show?" And sort of crossing my fingers, hoping you say yes.
Listen, we can. Whenever show ever comes, you can come as much as you like. Trust me.
There you go. There you go.
I think Dito Samara too. I'd feel crazy not mentioning them. And I just watched you on that show as well.
Oh yeah. That's a whole different thing. That's a late night. They're like late night TV hosts now, like legit TV hosts. When the movie book was coming out, my publisher was asking, what are the like goals that you want to accomplish as far as like media stuff? You have to do like a ton of interviews when the book comes out and be on different shows and this, that. And they asked, you know, do you want to do TV stuff? And I was like, I want to do Jesus and Meryl. Just get me on that show. That's the one I want to be on. Above all of the other ones, get me on that one. And then like the publisher, this is how cool they are. The publisher reached out to whoever runs the show for them, and they were like, nah, no thanks, not interested. And or didn't get a response at all. And then like Jesus and Meryl were like, you should come on the show, just come on. And then like, can you be in New York the next day? This guy named Tommy hit me up on text. They're like, hey, can you come tomorrow? You want to come tomorrow? And I was like, I'll fucking be there. They flew me up there, put me in a nice hotel. It was great. But they were just like the nicest guys in the world, which was wonderful. I was really excited about that one.
I met them when they came. They were on tour. They came to Providence to a venue called the Strand, and they did a meet and greet. And I hold shows at the Strand, so like I get to like meet everyone that comes through, and just so nice. They were super nice, asking me what I was working on. I was telling them how much of a fan I am, because these are just guys I used to watch on Twitter. I literally watched it from Twitter grow into the illustrious late night show, and it just like, it's things like that are just inspirational. Just to see people who are good at what they do, like what they do, get opportunities like that and knock it out the park. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they are exactly as charming in real life as they are on TV, which is a really hard thing to do. Most of the times you meet a person and they're just not interested in being charming when the camera's not on. These guys were just built that way. That's just how they are, and it's great.
All right, before we wrap this conversation up, by the way, again, thank you so much for doing this. This was really fun for me.
Me too.
What would be what would be like the one song you listen to every day, like your inspirational song? Like for me, a song I play every morning would be Every Season by Stiz off Manda. What is your song that you have to listen to every day that gets you in the right state of mind?
You know what it is? It's not even a rap song. It's this song.
It can be any song.
Okay, well, good. Then it's this song called Alone Together by Chet Baker. Chet Baker is a jazz musician who I really, really like. And that's the one song that I think I listen to more than any other song. But I'm gonna, because there's a way to like check this now because of the internet. Hold on, let me see. Let me pull this up. Yeah, well, I use Apple, so I'm just gonna go to Apple top 25 most played songs. Oh, it's Tierra Whack.
Hey,
Tierra Whack is number 1. She has a song called Black Nails. That's my most listened to song. And then it's Alone by Chet Baker, and then it's Freddie Freeloader by Miles Davis. And then number 4, Show You the Way, Thundercat. And then but not the regular version, the Chop Not Slop version that OG Ronci and DJ Candlestick did.
oh,
And then another Chet Baker song, How High the Moon. There's my 5 songs I have listened to more than any other songs this past year.
The range is incredible.
Yeah, I like to write to like a certain kind of music. I just need it to be in the background, not taking up any real space. And those are songs. I think if you listen to something enough times, you can sort of turn your brain off when it comes on and focus on something else.
Yeah, like background music, but like really good background music.
Yeah. So there you go.
Makes sense. I want to thank you so much for doing this. This was a great conversation. I learned a lot. You're the man. You should know that. Like, honestly, you read your Wikipedia.
I would never read my Wikipedia page ever. Never. I would never Google my name. I would never read that page.
Wait, do you ever search your name up on Twitter?
No. No.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
God, no. There's no good can come of it. If somebody's going to say something nice about you, they're usually going to tag you in it anyway.
Yeah.
And when they don't tag you is usually when the mean stuff is there. And I don't want to.
I was going to say,
I don't want to see it.
Twitter's a very mean fucking place. If you're not going to read anywhere but yourself, make sure it's not Twitter. It's a fucking place. People are brutal.
And if somebody's listening to this, don't do the thing where you like screenshot a mean thing somebody said to you about you and send it to you and be like, thoughts, comment on this. Like, no, there's a reason I didn't tweet about that, or there's a reason I didn't see it. I don't want to see it. Don't bring that evil to my doorstep.
Fair enough. I'll make sure I never do that to you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Yo, thank you so much, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. I look forward to reading the book 21 and just seeing all your funny tweets.
All right, homie. Be safe.
You too, boss. Have a good one.